So I have a question. So what do you do, and what is your response to when you have something that you said that you're gonna do on a specific day, or you said that there's a certain plan that you have for a specific day, and that time for you to do that thing that you basically said that you were gonna do? What do you do? Do you actually go out and do the thing, or do you say, okay, let me wait? Me personally, I struggle with it too. It's discipline. Multiple times I have a plan for the day. Multiple times I have something that I said I would do on a certain day or at a certain time during that day. And when that time came, I just felt kind of sluggish. I felt like I was like, man, like the time sped up to me. Like the time caught up to what I was doing. And I didn't understand that this was a skill issue. It's your discipline. If you are anything like me, and where I'm still working on it myself, but specifically a couple months ago, and even in like my past for sure, I struggle with it a lot. It was one of those things that I always found myself, and I caught myself in this loop of like, I'm keep saying like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it then, I'll do it then. And with this, I failed to realize in that moment that I was contributing to my losses. I was literally contributing to the reason why I felt like I was a failure. And I know I mentioned it before, but what exactly am I talking about? I'm talking about an extreme lack of discipline. Your discipline decides your destiny. So whenever you pay attention to your discipline, and whenever you actually have to do the things in order to basically solidify your discipline, to make sure that you're going along with your plan, making sure that you're going along with the things you said that you would do, whether you feel like it or not, that is ultimately what's going to bring you to where you want to be. One thing I had to realize, even though it took me a little bit to understand this, is that your discipline can truly be your detriment, but it can also be the reason why you reach your destiny. See, for example, your lack of discipline, that will more than likely 9 times out of 10 be the cause of your detriment. And on the other hand, if you actually commit to what you say and do it when you said you would do it, even if you don't want to do it in that moment, that is likely going to be the contribution to you reaching your destiny. And trust me, I get it. I've been there multiple times. I feel you, because I felt the exact same way. I would be just cruising through my day. I put it in my schedule, or maybe not even put it in my schedule. That's one thing where I really messed up. I had to start to create a regimen for myself. And I put it in certain points in my day and actually created a regimen for myself so I wouldn't have the option to forget. Like forgetting whatever I said that I would do in that day would never be an option, because I always put it inside of my checklist. I always put it inside of my calendar or my schedule. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that even when I did do that, and even when I were to have it in my schedule, or I saw it with my eyes, it's like, okay, like it felt like the time just caught up. Like I said, it was like the time was suffocating me. You know what I mean? Like I just had an extreme feeling, or a lack of wanting to do it. You know what I mean? The thing that I wanted to do, or the errand I had to run. And I had to realize that this was a skill issue. It was literally a lack of discipline. But you have to understand this, and it's a harsh reality, because I had to come to that reality as well. Wherever you are right now, and wherever you want to be at, the only thing that's standing in between you is your discipline and the action that you have to take to get to that place. You're not always gonna want to do the things you have to do when you have to do them. And man, if anybody understands this, it's me. I understand. There's multiple times where I'll have a class, or I'll have practice or something like that, where I'm gonna have to leave from doing what I'm currently doing in the moment, or get out of my bed, or sleep like extra long. Like it's things like that. And one thing for me in particular, and I'm sure some of y'all can actually relate, is getting out of bed, man. Like it doesn't matter if I'm like taking a nap, or if I'm just waking up for like my day, or just anything. Me personally, I love sleep. You know what I mean? I love to prioritize my sleep. I don't always get my 8 hours at night, so I like to take my naps throughout the day. But one thing that I didn't realize what was happening when I used to be taking these naps, or when I needed to catch up on sleep, or whenever I wasn't getting the perfect amount of sleep that I needed every single night, I had to realize that I was contributing to the downfall of my next day that I had planned. Like the plans that I had in my day for the next day, I was already like halfway in, halfway out. But you have to understand that when you don't want to do these things, don't be the other 99% of people. In that moment right there, that was a weakness for me. I was like the other 99% of people that say that they're going to do something and never actually did it, never actually followed through. And what is their result? They never end up getting what they want. They never end up being where they want to be, because it's a lack of discipline. It's a skill issue. So the thing is, you have to make up what you lack in skill in numbers. You have to understand that if you don't want to wake up or get out of your bed and stuff like that at a certain time to do what you have to do, You have to be willing, and you have to understand that even when you don't want to do it, you have to do it anyways. And this was one of my hardest things to overcome. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress. I'm still trying to understand and even just craft it to be where I want it to be. But at this point, I can honestly and just humbly say that it's a lot better than what it used to be. But I know there's so many people that struggle with the exact same thing: the lack of discipline, not wanting to get out of the bed, not wanting to do the things that they said when they said that they were going to do them. You have to understand that if your dreams and your goals and where you actually want to be and where you see yourself being is truly that important to you, that you would be willing to sacrifice anything, a 5-minute nap, an hour nap, maybe stop scrolling on your phone, social media, whatever it is, whatever your vice is, whatever it is that you do to distract yourself from the things you have to do, you have to be willing and understand that that has to be a sacrifice to get to where you want to go. And again, this is not the easiest thing to do. If it was so easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody would have amazing discipline and everybody would be where they want to be. But the harsh and honest reality is, and I know y'all understand this too, is that not everybody does that. There's not a lot of people that do these things. There's a lot of people that stay in their comfort zones. There's a lot of people that just give in to their vices, understanding and sometimes not even understanding that those are the downfalls to their plans. And whenever you have downfalls to your plans, you ultimately have downfalls to your goals and your dreams. It's a ripple effect. It's a snowball effect. So you fix one thing, you change this one small thing, discipline right here, and you stick to it no matter what. It doesn't matter the day, it doesn't matter how you feel, it doesn't matter who you're talking, like it doesn't matter. You stick to this one thing and it can be the ripple effect and change the trajectory of your life and your dreams as you know it, for the positive and for the better. So if that is really and truly, honestly, your goal and what you want to do, and that's what you see yourself doing, you have to do that thing. For starters, say you do this, say that you're committed and you're like, all right, I'm tired of doing the exact same thing. I'm tired of going in circles. You had the exact same realization that I had, and I had to actually put the action behind it. You know what I mean? Like I said, the only thing that's standing in between you and where you want to be is the action you have to take. So I have to take action. You have to understand and really wrap your mind around this, is that it's not going to be an overnight process. Like, you're not just going to be able to wake up the next morning and be like, all right, we're ready to go, let's go. And your discipline's going to be there. This is a process. And the thing is, a lot of people, they start the process, but they never finish it. They'll end up finishing it like at 80%. The bar is almost full to 100%, and they'll finish and they won't do anything because it was too difficult, it was too hard. But the thing is, you have to understand that anything that is worth a great amount of good, I say this all the time, it's not gonna come overnight. It's not gonna be one of those one size fits all situations or issues, you know what I mean? This is something that you have to start learning yourself. You have to start learning yourself. You have to start learning your bad habits, and you also have to start learning your triggers. The things that trigger you into being lazy or trigger you into falling out of your discipline or doing these things that you shouldn't be doing when you should be doing the other things you told yourself you do. You have to understand that, and you actually have to learn yourself and learn how to combat that. Because I mentioned this in a couple of my videos, habits don't just drop off. If you have a bad habit, you can't just delete the habit and just keep moving. Habits aren't deletable, they are replaceable though. So you have to replace the bad habit that you currently have right now with something that is a lot more productive. You know what I mean? You have to keep yourself accountable. And the reason why this is a lot of people's detriment is that people don't like keeping themselves accountable, and more than anything, people don't really like being honest with themselves. They don't like hearing the things that they need to hear. And man, I can truly attest to this one because that was my issue for the long time. I didn't like hearing the things that I needed to hear in order to get me to where I needed to go. You know what I mean? Because I felt like I was being too harsh on myself. I was beating myself up. I wasn't being fair to myself. The thing is, I was being the most fair to myself, and I was giving myself the chance, and I was giving myself the out to actually fix the issue that I had. But it wasn't apparent to me that that was it. So that's why I stayed in the same cycle and I saw no results. So this goes into getting out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of your comfort zone to get to where you want to go. And to get out of your comfort zone, you have to establish that discipline. And I don't know if anybody's told you yet or not, but I'm going to tell you, discipline can be the end all be all if you let it be. It can be the ending to your goals. It can be the ending to your dream. And ultimately, it can be your downfall. And for me, it came to a point where I saw that and I realized that. And it wasn't that deep for me to keep giving in to the things that were my triggers or the things that I wanted to do when I didn't want to do the other things I had to do. It wasn't that deep for me to keep indulging in those things and not fix what I needed to fix. So if you're anything like me and you want to fix it and you want to establish that discipline so you can get to the next level and elevate and get to where you want to go, then you have to put in the action. And more than that, you have to keep yourself accountable and you have to be honest with yourself. So I can promise you, if you're truly committed to changing things for yourself, You have to understand that the discipline comes first, and it's not going to be easy. But you have to understand that if it was so easy and it was so easy to get past and easy to get around, everybody would be doing it. So maybe just sit and think, because I had to do the exact same thing. If everybody's not doing it, maybe everybody's dream to themselves isn't as deep as your dreams and your goals are to you. So you have to do something different. So with understanding this and keeping this in your mind, you have to do something different from what they're doing. So step out, do something different, establish your discipline, and you will change things for yourself. The world in which you're crafting in your mind and the world in which you're making, in which you will live in when you establish that discipline, will look different and miles different from the people that say that they do it but don't actually follow through with the action of doing it. The thing you have to realize is that when you say you're going to do something and you commit it to yourself, that is a promise. So what you need to do is keep your promise to yourself. Because like I say all the time, the most important and the most meaningful promise that you can ever make is the promise that you make to yourself. So keep it. And yeah, that was basically it. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for showing all the love y'all are showing me, man. I really appreciate it. And as I say in every single one of my videos, I know this from my personal experience, because I know if it's been able to help me, then it'll definitely be able to help you too. So I appreciate y'all again. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good one, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.